And so the value of organic on its own has diminished, although it's still a good core of traffic and conversions for a lot of clients. But more now, you have to look at how to blend your organic with other things like retargeting media, right? Once they've visited your site and taken some action and engaged, they might have done that on 4 or 5 different websites. So to stay in the share of mind, depending on what your product or service is, hitting them with retargeting, ads, and these types of things is part of the core strategy now. And actually, I don't think I have any clients on roster now that are purist SEO clients, meaning either with us or through themselves or with another agency. They're looking at a cross-spectrum strategy between organic and paid, retargeting and social, and really how all of that stuff blends together to maximize brand exposure and increase sales.
Right.
Whereas back in the day, you'd just hand somebody a bag of money and then check your rankings. Right? It's a big difference.
So I guess now you kind of look at it as an approach where a client comes to you, you try to figure out what their keyword sets are.
Correct.
You look at that landscape, you say, all right, are there videos there that are dominating? Or is it a Twitter carousel? Is it a local pack? Is it, are the ads like 6 ads above the search results? You look
Correct.
at that and you say, what is our strategy to capture all those universal results, I guess vertical search.
Correct.
Ads, local, you name it, video. And I guess it depends on each type of client. And then you take a strategy. You say, this is the strategy we're going to go ahead and deploy so that we can get you traffic organically or maybe through paid search. And then make sure you use retargeting for them to keep reminding them, hey, you visited our website, you know of us,
Correct.
Come back and convert.
Exactly. And sort of the lower the transactional price of it, let's say an e-commerce product that's under $50 versus what we call a considered purchase, like somebody putting a $100,000 swimming pool in their backyard, that's going to dictate how much of those other strategies that you can utilize and still hit the cost per lead or cost per order that you're looking to get. And so oftentimes when it's a long sales cycle and a very high purchase price, like an automobile or, a swimming pool or a new roof on your house, like we'll play into the paid side a bit more than we ever did, because of those changes.
And in terms of you've been around in the old days. So back in the old days, pretty much every niche you were in, except for really spammy ones, was something that really wasn't so competitive. Like you could be correct. Selling, like you said, swimming pools back 15 years ago, and pretty much nobody was doing that.
That's right.
And you would have SEOs creating affiliate sites to sell swimming pool leads to swimming pool companies.
Correct.
But now it seems like almost every single topic you want to write about or every single business area niche is very competitive these days. Would you agree with that?
It's absolutely true. And the geography factors into that too. And in fact, our whole pricing model is typically based on whether you're a single location business, a multi-location regional, whether you're in the suburbs or in the city. Like I worked with a psychologist 15 years ago, and between his organic and paid, he was dominating and filling 50, 60 appointments a week in Manhattan. Now he can barely get that, half that traction from the same tactical approach because all the psychologists are using it to one extent or another, right? And so even though all those businesses were there, the adoption rate into using these digital marketing strategies has finally reached some kind of penetration point, right? So you've got to not expect the same results that you got, and you have to build a smarter mousetrap, right? So if people land on a page now and it's just text, no pictures, no video, you're not going to stand a chance to convert if all your competitors are having video welcomes and other value add things on the landing page. So it's as much the tools we use to get people there as it is to get them to stay and engage and convert, which has become part of the art. And I think if you've been in the digital space long enough, you know that that's a reducing time frame. It's something like 5 to 6 seconds that you've got to get their attention or they're out. In terms of page load speed and then time that they'll spend on the site. If the site even looks like it's 4 or 5 years old, you're gonna probably be losing people just based on they don't look like they're up with the technology. Why am I going to go get my braces done by this person, or why am I going to buy this
Right.
expensive thing from someone who's...
And the good thing about that is that it all is circular. You need a great website with a great experience for your users, for Google to rank you, for them to convert, for them to want to come back, and for them to want to recommend people, and also, of course, for other sites to want to link to you. So it's all very circular, and all the investments that you're deploying on your clients' websites across all those spectrums and all those areas, helps overall. So it's a good thing to hear. Any other concepts or anything else you want to discuss before we cut it in, whatever?
Just restating that it's an ever-evolving industry. So there was a story, I'm in an entrepreneurs group in Manhattan, and one of the stories they share there was Linksys, the router company.
Yeah.
We've all owned a Linksys router or two through the years. And, they grew that company by leaps and bounds and eventually sold to Cisco. But I got to witness an interview with their CEO once, and he said his entire success was staying 6 to 8 weeks ahead of the competition in his industry for 25 years, right? So, if the competition would come out like Belkin or somebody and they'd have a router $10 cheaper and 2 more ports and a little faster, then Linksys would launch their new one and be the top of the market and the best value proposition again. And on it went. Just every 6 months, they would just have a new model in keeping up. And that's kind of what it is to succeed in digital marketing. If you're doing the tactics that were popular a year or two ago, instead of the ones that are starting to take the leading edge, right? Like if you're not doing social marketing now, or you're like Snapchat is for kids and you're not at least looking at it and experimenting. So as an agency, we've built R&D into our process. If you're going to do this on your own, you've really got to build R&D into your process and understand what's happening now and how can I test that at some small level to prove its worth, and then how do I expand that, going forward. So I would say right now well, first of all, if you don't have an SSL certificate, you're probably 2 years behind. But
Yeah.
I can tell you, I see hundreds of sites every week that haven't done it yet, and it's so core to the algorithm now that I think 85% of search results are SSL sites now, and that number just keeps growing. Kind of like the mobile responsive upgrades of 2015. So like those basic big changes that Google's dictating, you have to keep up with. The next level from there is probably video,
Right.
More video on landing pages, more A/B testing of video, etc. And just constantly building for a decreasing attention span within your audience, right?
Right.
And if you focus on just those 3 things, like the technology core updates, video, and
Social.
response time,
Right.
that would probably put you in the top 5 or 10%.
And it's interesting to see what Google pushes us into versus what they're just fed up with. So, for example, HTTPS was kind of pushed into that. Most sites didn't want to deploy HTTPS. They didn't see a reason for it unless you're on, you're checking out with a credit card. So they kind of push people into that, although that ranking factor is tiny. Although most of the search results, like you said, 85% are HTTPS, which makes sense. But Google pushed that really, really hard. Another example is mobile friendly. That is all right, enough. Google's enough. Every website has to be mobile friendly. Everybody has mobile phones. Make your website mobile friendly.
Right.
Cool thing to do, and they kind of push you towards that. And now this page,
you also need to for ADA compliance anyway. So.
And then the page experience update, which is coming in sometime next year.
Correct.
I mean, don't make your site jump up and down. Make sure it's fast. Make all those basic things. They're all right, we're coming out with an update. Make sure to do the basics that you need to do that you should have been doing 2 years ago.
Right.
Now it's important. And the one thing about SEOs, which is great, and why SEOs are such a big value proposition for their clients, is that because SEOs are so good at adapting to change and anticipating change and always being one step ahead is the game of SEO. And that's why you can help your clients so much with even their business models. I'm sure they probably come to you as a business therapist, a business coach, not just as your SEO or digital marketing agency.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many people, they read an old book, even if it's 5 years old, and they're doing stuff wrong. Or the worst crime is updating your website to a new content management system and not properly transferring your SEO, doing redirects, looking at your 404s. I've seen more sites lose 40 or 50% traffic because they're like, oh, we'll do the SEO after the website update,
Right.
when they really need to combine it with the website update. So that's probably another
Yeah,
hot tip for
For
those watching.
cool. I appreciate you coming out here.
That was my pleasure, Barry. It's finally nice to meet you
Yeah,
face
in
to
person,
face after
yeah.
following you many years, man.
For sure. So how can people follow you, learn more about you?
So you can visit our site at interactmarketing.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. I think I'm the only Joe Beccalori out there. They should be able to find me there. And I also have a site called averagejoe.tv. If you're a budding entrepreneur looking to get a start in business, I have an entrepreneur course at that site. So,
Cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate
thank you, Barry. My pleasure.